Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, superb. Great. We have a lot of people joining in. Excited very much. All right. Let's just wait for a bit for more people to join and then we'll get started. In the meantime, just to give you a heads up, I'm Srini. I look into marketing for EPNS project, and today I'm going to be co-hosting the Meet the Builders push call with Sir Jeff, as we like to call him. So yeah, it's very exciting simply because we have a ton of amazing builders today who are going to chime in with their stories and their journey of building some amazing protocols and projects at ETHNewYork. And yeah, we do have someone from EthGlobal as well to join. In fact, Cree, who was supposed to join, couldn't make it due to a flight, but we do have someone replacing her, so stay tuned and you'll get to know who that is. Okay, we'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we could get started with today's push call. All right, I think we have a ton of people now, so to save time, and we have a lot of interesting stuff happening. So let's get started. All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining another push call. As I mentioned, this one's going to be a little different from what it was before and what it has been all the time. This one's going to be exciting, especially because we are going to talk to a bunch of amazing builders who've really built some great protocols at ETHNewYork, one of our latest hackathons that we attended in real. And they, of course, here to share their story and their journey of building with EPNS. And of course, as they take the stage, do check out their Twitter handles, follow them. They probably also will join through their protocol. So if you want to know more about them, you should definitely check out their Twitter handles. And besides, of course, the builders, we have our very own Harsh, who is in ETH Barcelona as we speak. In fact, Harsh is our founder and project lead, for those who don't know. And we'll get some good insights or some cool dope on what's been happening at EPNS from him. All right. So, yeah, as we begin, let me first actually give the stage to my co-host, Jeff, who was actually there at ETHNewYork, worked tirelessly with all the builders and a bunch of people and with support from the EthGlobal team. So, Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience at ETHNewYork and how you got to learn a lot more from this event?
Thank you, Srini. Yeah, it was awesome. I almost feel at home here with all the builders that I had the opportunity to meet in ETHNewYork. Right? It was truly an awesome experience because the vibe was just amazing. It was amazing. It was people coming to talk to us and share ideas, and everybody was talking with everybody, making sure that their ideas were sound and that they were building really cool stuff. All the projects that we were able to see, they were just amazing. Whenever one project after another were coming to our table to showcase what they did, we were just amazed all the time. And to be honest, part of it is just that the entire place was beautiful, and the support that we received from the EthGlobal team and everybody, the support that everybody received from the EthGlobal team was just amazing as well. So yeah, it was so easy to enjoy, even though there was a lot of work to do. It was so amazing and so something that we enjoyed too much. So yeah, thank you everybody, and looking forward to talking with everybody here. Srini, you can take it.
All right, thanks so much, Jeff, for telling us about your experience. And I really had FOMO while I was working at the back end, but I definitely would like to attend one of these events pretty soon. All right, so next up, we have Jacob from EthGlobal, who's part of the partnership team. And, he's, going to talk to us about, one thing I wanted to ask, of course, EthGlobal is, EthGlobal being one of the most prestigious hackathons in the world, providing builders with a great platform, tools, and most importantly, guidance to create world-changing projects. Jacob, how do you guys manage to execute such amazing events? Like, what's your secret sauce?
Hey, Srini, nice to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think there's a couple ways to kind of answer that question. Obviously, we're always very thankful when an event goes well. It's a ton of planning goes into this. So I think obviously, start one is there's a lot of planning. We've been planning ETHNewYork since probably September of last year, I would say, is when we first started it. So really months and months and months of planning. We also iterate a ton on these events. So actually, you would think that after the event ends, the EthGlobal team just sort of like relaxes and sort of takes the day off. But no, on the Monday following the event, we actually have, for every event, about an 8-hour retro where we just tear apart everything that went well, everything that went wrong, things we wish we could have done, things that we wanted to do but didn't get to do. And we just go through the whole thing and just sort of try to figure out what could have been done better, what made this event special, what stuck out, all these different types of things. So that's been an important part of our culture since day one. And also we have been doing this for quite a long time at this point. We're going into our 5th year of running hackathons for the Ethereum community, which is really exciting. We started back in October of 2017. So it's really been amazing to both build a team, some people from that team all the way back from 2017 still, a team around ETHGlobal and what we're doing and be able to kind of grow both as an organization and the amount of events that we do and really in every way imaginable, honestly. So I think, plan a lot, iterate a ton, ideally do this for a long time if you can. And then, build an amazing team of people who are just as passionate about building excellent events as everything else.
Wow, that's like a ton of work and ton of pre-planning and so much going to make this event what it is. I mean, no wonder you guys kind of knock it off the park every single time. On that same note, I mean, you must definitely face a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to in real events, right? So, what were the biggest challenges that you had managing these kind of events, especially ETHNewYork, and how you guys managed to handle it?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of challenges, especially with ETHNewYork. We're starting to hit a really amazing scale with these events. Like over 1,500 people there over the weekend, 1,200 hackers. I think I was coming into this event thinking it would be amazing if we had 200 projects. We ended up having over 250, which is crazy. So just being able to have the infrastructure set up to just judge all of those projects on the Sunday morning in what feels like enough time, it's like 3 or 4 hours, but really when it's 250 teams and you want to make sure that each team gets enough time to talk about what they did and present and ask questions and get answers and takes up a lot of time. So, a lot of preparation went into that piece as well. Just sort of, 200 was what I thought would be awesome, but we definitely planned for more than that. Judging actually went on schedule, which is kind of crazy to me because even back in the day when we had 6 sometimes be an hour late. So really been able to iterate that for quite a long time. One thing that kind of went wrong, but was kind of a funny story in the end of it, and I don't think this has been shared before, is actually one of the finalist teams had completely gone home when we had got in touch with them to say that they had won. And very fortunately, that finalist team, much to my surprise, was actually some engineers that are friends of mine that I'd invited to the event, and they're really an amazing team of individuals. So they were the ETHDOS team. They demoed last at the event, and the reason they went last is because we called them about an hour and a half. They had to get into an Uber right away and drive from New Jersey to the venue. Of course, if anybody was there on the Sunday, you would have remembered that there was also the Pride Parade on Sunday, which had closed down all the streets around the venue. So they couldn't even get the Uber all the way to the venue. So they had to get out of the Uber, start running down the road. He told me that he ran into friends that, he's based in India. He said he ran into friends that were in New York that he hasn't seen in 6 years from India. And they were like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, no, get out of the way. I've got to get to this thing. And I'm not even kidding. He got to the venue just as the second last team was finishing, the team right before him was finishing their demo on stage. We threw him up on stage and he did the demo, and I don't think anyone noticed because he's such a boss. But with real life events, like it really come down to the wire sometimes, and I think it was both a very stressful experience for the team as we were organizing this, and literally like following his like live Uber link all the time, trying to make sure that we could expect if he would come or not. And we had 2 slides up, one if he didn't make it, one if he did. Overall, I mean, it went the right way, so we're really happy with that outcome. But it was sort of this like kind of almost like Bollywood movie ending, where like everything was sort of building up to this one climax, and he got up on stage and he killed it. So we were really excited to have that happen. But this is what happens at in-person events. They can maybe be in a literally a different state when they win. So yeah.
Wow, that's so adventurous. I mean, Adventures of ETHNewYork. To me, in fact, it sounded like an episode of Silicon Valley when all these kind of chaos happens. So yeah, exciting. In fact, my next question was going to be around one of your fond and most exciting memories from ETHNewYork hackathon. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if anything can top this one, or is it like any exciting memory or anything fond memory of this whole experience as, of course, the organizer, but also, from a developers, from interacting with developers, builders.
So, Srini, I think Jacob is a listener right now. So, maybe Jacob, if you can request again.
I think he's requested it. Can you give him access? I see he's requested access. Okay, we'll come back to Jacob. Team, can you guys just give him access if you are able to see his request? In fact, in the meantime, Harsh, I was gonna, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening at ETH Barcelona? What are you guys up to there?
There we go.
Awesome.
Sorry about that.
I think Jacob is back, so I'll let him take the question. But yeah, another secret sauce with Jacob and EthGlobal Team, they don't reveal, is that they don't sleep at all. That's how they make sure that the events are so successful. Go ahead, Jacob.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I literally just took an overnight flight and did not sleep at all. And now I'm on the other side doing a summit for Hackathon in the next hour. So I'm on literally 0 sleep at the moment, which is actually unusual. So in my defense, we do actually sleep. I'm not sure what happened was when I finished my answer, I didn't hear your question, Srini. So do you want to just repeat that real quick? I can hear you now.
Yeah, sure. I was just going to cue in. In fact, you did tell us a story about New York and the experience. My question was around the lines of, if you have any fond memory from ETHNewYork hackathon or any previous hackathon, like some interesting, stuff, and also a bit of an insight about what interesting events that are happening in near future for hackers and builders to keep in mind from EthGlobal side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably fair that I reflect back on maybe ETHNewYork 2019, just as that one's kind of was a really special event. That was actually the first time we ever sold out an EthGlobal event, and I remember having to turn people away at the door. It was really painful, but it was the first time we ever sold it out. We had 300 hackers. We were completely sold out. It's hard to believe that that's how big these events used to be, and 300 used to feel really big. So it's amazing that it's 4x in the last 3 years. But I think just my memory from that event is just how big it felt, how many relevant people were there. I remember we had Dennison from Tally as MC on stage. We obviously had Vitalik just kind of walking around the event. He did a talk on decentralized governance in 2019. I think nobody really was doing anything decentralized governance at the time. I remember we had workshops from the Graph, Arweave, Arbitrum, Chainlink, but they were led by Yaniv, the founder of the Graph, Sam, the founder of Arweave, Harry, the founder of Arbitrum, and Sergey, the founder of Chainlink. It was just crazy that all these people were just at this event and actually running the technical workshops for the hackers. Those companies have obviously done so well over the last few years that they have huge amounts of people, and they have people whose full-time job is just events on their team now, which is really amazing. So I think the final kind of really awesome thing that happened in 2019 was we had this one team of two guys that would come to every single one of our events in person. And they called themselves the Cryptomaniacs, and they would make YouTube videos about their experiences. And they were super nice, and we always had a good time having them at the events. And during that event, they built a DEX aggregator, and they called the aggregator 1inch because they wanted their project to be listed first alphabetically in the project list. That's literally the reason why it's called 1inch. They actually didn't win anything, which is really ironic. But of course, most people in this chat have actually used 1inch, and it's a massive DEX aggregator at this point, and probably one of EthGlobal's largest success stories, among many other amazing people like EPNS. So that's why I'm also happy to be here. But it was just crazy to see that success from a small weekend event that we were running into what that project has become. And really cool to see like what had at that point just been our friends, the Cryptomaniacs, making these funny YouTube videos about our events, go on to become the leaders of the company, Anton and Sergey. So it was really amazing to see. So yeah, lots of fond memories about all events, not just ETHNewYork, but it's I think I'm going to look back on ETHNewYork 2022 the same way that I look back on 2019, in the sense that like so many cool people were there. The audience was amazing, and I can't believe that we only had 1,200 people. So I think I'm looking forward to that. And then I guess your last question was like, what's next? Well, we have a ton of events still. So this is this cool thing where now we run like 16 events a year instead of 5. So I actually have to leave in a minute to kick off our next hackathon, which is HackaFest, which starts today. Applications are still open. It's a virtual event, so you don't need to go in person. So if you want to apply, feel free to do so today. It's the last day. And then after that, we have an event called Metabolism, which was kind of built around NFTs and marketplaces. That's going to be in early August. And then the next in-person event that we have, so if you want to come back to the kind of rekindling the experience of ETHNewYork, it's going to be ETH Mexico. So it's going to be Mexico City, August 19th to 21st. So that's the next in-person one we're doing. And that's, of course, not the end. We still have another 6 events after that, I think. So lots more of EthGlobal events. You can just go to ethglobal.com, and all of our events are listed there, and you can actually apply to any of the events for the rest of the year.
Wow, that's great. A lot of action still to come, and we are just getting started. So thanks, Jacob. Thanks for stepping in. I know you had to kind of step in the last minute, and you have another conference to go to. We really appreciate you stepping in. Hopefully I'll get to meet you in person someday. So thank you so much once again.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great. So next up, Harsh, I'm going to quickly borrow your time. And in fact, one thing struck me while Jacob was speaking. So I want to ask you that question, about how he remembers a project that was done in 2019 or a protocol specifically. And I believe for EPNS, the POC was built at EthGlobal event, Hack Money. And I want to understand how's the journey been for our listeners to kind of get an idea of what's gone down ever since, it was also an EthGlobal event. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Hey, Srini. And first of all, thanks, Jacob. Thank you so much for joining in, and more so for sharing these cool stories. I didn't really knew this story about 1inch, and I'm going to tease Anton about it whenever we meet next. Srini, coming back to the question, like what was the journey been? Well, we started from Hack Money 2020. So a year later than 1inch. And the way we started was, in essence, we had this idea that the communication layer for Web3 is absent. No one has built it. Everyone was going for speed, scalability, and security, which was good because then it meant that we get to create this communication layer, which will be notifications at first, and then we'll go into chat, and then maybe even video calls in the future. So this was the idea that we had, but we didn't know how to start or how to go about it. We essentially, it took some time for us to come up with some courage, but essentially we gathered enough courage to write to Ethereum Foundation about it. These were COVID times. And Ethereum Foundation, they were like, guys, the idea sounds nice, but you need to go ahead and build some sort of POC out. And Hack Money 2020 is coming up. It's from EthGlobal, and that's the best place you can be to build things out. And that is what we exactly did. And in fact, to this very day, that is the experience which convinced us that this project needs to be so much more than a hackathon project, because the vibe we had with the EthGlobal team was really, really excellent. And to this day, I actually tell a lot of people who ask like how to get started, like the best place to get started is from a hackathon. The reason for that, I mean, there are a couple of neat stories about it. One story, that reason why you should do this thing in a hackathon is that I met Jacob over there, I met Trent over there, and I met so many cool people, even volunteers over there, who were there to basically give you references, to basically give you tutorials in case you're missing something. And these guys, they know exactly how to make sure that even if you're a novice or even if you're starting from a beginner level, how to help you out. And even if you're intermediate or advanced, you will need that. So that is the strongest reason why you should do things from a hackathon. The other thing is that in the hackathon, not only you get these educators who are there to help you out and volunteers who are basically giving the time to make sure that you build your project well. Not only that, you have mentors who are Web3 leaders, and you can basically talk about your project directly with them. Which also happened with us. Like, we shared the idea, and the first person to reply on that idea was Stanley of Aave. And then the judges who basically judged the idea, one of them was Mariano Conti. And that basically helped us in the future because we ended up having Mariano Conti as an angel investor and a very dear friend. And of course, Aave, we won a grant from Aave right after EthGlobal. So yeah, that's how I think people should start, and that's why hackathons are so very, very important. They are, at least for EPNS, like we are very, very. I mean, we are overjoyed when we are in a hackathon area, and a lot of nostalgia comes in. And other than that, we just like to pay forward because so many people gave so much of their time when we were building EPNS. It's just fair that we pay it forward. One funny story is like Karthik, who runs EthGlobal. He basically had to spend like hours with me to make sure that I'm perfecting my pitch deck. And every time I gave him the pitch, it was always an hour long, which, by the way, guys, should not be the case. It should be 10 minutes pitch if you're pitching to any VC. But yeah, that's how cool EthGlobal is, and that's how cool they are in helping people out. So yeah, Srini, I think I've absolutely forgotten what your question was. But yeah.
No, that's exactly what my question was. In fact, talking us through the experience of how EPNS has grown from the time of Hack Money, which is also an EthGlobal event. And it's sort of inspiring because we do have so many builders here. I'm sure their journey also is going to be, moving forward. I really hope that, they scale to great heights, and we're going to get to listen to them. I'm excited about that. One last thing, since you are at ETH Barcelona, I'm sure there must be some really, really exciting stuff. I've been following your Twitter, so I keep seeing your tweets and meeting so many amazing people there. But why don't you share a little bit of what, what's something that's coming up for EPNS? Anything cool that you'd like to share with the team here? I mean, people.
Got it. So first of all, like ETH Barcelona, it was really special for us because we wanted to also get in touch with our Spanish community. We met a lot of cool projects over here in person who we hadn't met before. For example, we met Rootkey, very cool project, and they also started around the same time. And this was the first time when we met them. Apart from that, we of course met a few Ethereum Foundation folks. We met Tenderly folks. We met DeFi Saver team, and the idea was like to grow EPNS out and to, of course, come over here and understand how the Spanish community is and what are their needs, and to also tell them that what we are building, right? So that is what ETH Barcelona was for us, meeting cool people, discussing cool new things that might be coming in, listening to cool speakers, and of course, meeting old and new friends. So that's ETH Barcelona. When it comes to EPNS, what's coming up? I'm in two minds right now, what to share and what not to share. I think people are waiting for wallet-to-wallet chat. We are testing that out internally. Srini knew about it, but yeah, I think he just wanted me to tell you guys that. Wallet to wallet is very cool. That's coming up. Push protocol 1.5 is coming up. It essentially enables a subgraph functionality or sending notification from your own subgraph on the broad environment. Right now, you can only do it on the staging environment. There are a couple of more surprises in the mix, which I don't think I should talk, which is going to kill me. And I think Srini will also send me a note to not say that. So yeah, that's about EPNS. Very excited about wallet to wallet and push the next version of push protocol. And one more surprise, which you guys will find out later.
Superb. Thanks so much, Harsh, for sharing. I mean, they say, right, good news travels fast. So when it's the right time, why not share it with the community like this? Great. Thanks so much, Harsh, for sharing your journey and some cool news that we have upcoming. I'm excited for the wallet-to-wallet chat. I know Fabio and team have been working really, really hard on it. Just a quick heads up for those of you who joined. At the end of the push call, we will have a POEP to give away. So you could hop onto our Discord and find a channel there. You will definitely, though limited, but you definitely try, like, you'll get a POEP for this event today. And people, I see some requests as well. At the end of the call, we might have some time. If we do, we'll give you a chance to, ask your questions as well, apart from the speakers we have lined up. All right, so with that, let me give the stage to our first builder, who is from Common Grants. We have Boyang joining us to talk to us about their experience building at ETHNewYork. By the way, they won the first prize at the hackathon with EPNS, and I'm really fascinated by this project. Common Grants, it makes it easy for builders to apply and gain reputation in form of evolving non-transferable badges. Protocols can in fact lower their risk by streaming payments instead of giving one lump sum. That's as much as I know about Common Grants, but why don't I invite Boyang to talk more about their project and how it started, what the idea was all about?
Hey, absolutely. Good to be here. Yeah. First, I want to thank EthGlobal. We've probably been to like 4 of their events in the past year or so, and yeah, that's also how we got started. It's just me and my friend David, who's not here right now. But yeah, it's always been a really good event. ETHNewYork was my first live in-person one. Really good atmosphere. Got to sleep on the floor at like 6 a.m. So that's always a fun story. I think the motivation for Common Grants was we wanted to make a better way for protocols to engage developers in their ecosystem. And, right now, EPNS got a grant from Aave a long time ago, and I wasn't even aware of that, right? But it'd be nice if there was some form of reputation to go and look at that and say, oh, this grant was given out. They actually did this project. It went very well. And to track that reputation forward as people just build on top of different ecosystems, so that you would know which builders were capable and which ones were actually doing the work. Because I think as we talk to protocols, there's a lot of these problems inherent in grants, which the motivations might not be correct. There's some sort of mercenary behavior, and giving people these sort of non-transferable badges. We had the idea to say that the protocol could choose to evolve them / change the metadata of them such that then the protocol could actually have basically the administrative right to say this project actually did go through and do the correct thing. And like in order to tell the world that we're going to reward them with a much better badge. So for that purpose, we wanted to make this sort of two-way communication layer, and that's why we ended up using EPNS. It was actually really easy to do. Basically, just incorporated the SDK and did some of that tutorial code and modified it for our use case. But I would say it was like very easy to test out. Just sort of worked on the first try. Can't wait for wallet-to-wallet messaging. Think that's going to really change the game as well. That's one thing that we were missing in our demo, and we really wanted to have, which is like, how do protocols send grant applications messages, and how do they receive them and get notified on different platforms? And having an all-in-one solution to that would be really good. So yeah, really liked it. I know that when we demoed to Jeff, it was he was very interested and excited about it.
Great. In fact, I could imagine Jeff going all excited about something like this for sure. In fact, he did mention to me, I was going to ask you what the roadmap is looking like, and also something exciting. You guys have built, a platform to reward grantees with NFTs. So why don't you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are building a platform that does grants more end to end. It's almost like a CRM at this point, but that was meant more for protocols to just get started running grants. We're thinking of this common grants application as like a feature that is plug and play. What we'd really like to do is, if you are a protocol and you want to reward your grant recipients or people who are building in your ecosystem, you want to give them some form of a reputation to say this person builds in EPNS, or this is a developer, let's say in the Solana ecosystem, then you can do so, right? You come to us, we make it really easy for you to create this nice little badge. It's like a 3D spinning GIF model. It looks cool, and you get to send that directly out through an invite link, very easy to mint, and you would then have rights to evolve that and change it as that project gets built up. So yeah, the roadmap for us looks like, we want protocols to just go ham with this, use it whenever they want, and distribute these badges to builders so that we can really build up that reputation network and people know who's serious about building in Web3.
Great. I mean, it's so inclusive, and it kind of gives me sort of, you're sort of paying it forward in a sense, helping builders, helping people who really have some exciting ideas, and that's really amazing. Appreciate you joining us, and thanks so much for sharing your insights and what you guys are doing at Common Grants. Wish you all the best with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be here.
All right, great. Thank you. And next up, we have someone who's really, in fact, while of course I was following the ETHNewYork, at the back end, and I was looking at the projects that were coming in and building and submitting, I was also looking up Twitter because I'm mostly, crypto is all about Twitter, so I'm almost always there. So I'm seeing a lot of retweets and a lot of interesting tweets about an interesting project that Linum Labs built, and that is something which they did. They deployed a small notification channel, on EPNS project with Let's Rame, and I must tell you, this has been getting some rave reviews, no pun intended, and quite a lot of folks have also been tweeting about it. I think Stani also tweeted about it, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm inviting the CTO of Linum Labs, Mustafa, to share his journey about ETHNewYork and how he came up with this idea and built it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So first of all, I will just say a little bit about Linum as a company, that we are a dev workshop, and what we do is build projects on Web3. What we build is mostly like DAOs, NFT marketplaces, tokens with tokenomics, and recently we started building games, like play-to-earn games. And what I saw was missing in most of our projects was the notifications. And I think I was in ETHNewYork a bit in advantage about EPNS because during ETH Denver, I was in a workshop about EPNS where I saw the first time, like the push notifications when something occurs in your contract. And I found it interesting and started reading about it. And during ETHNewYork, when I was planning to build a project, I was like, I want to build something with push notifications. What is the best thing to do is use Lancer, because there's much going on that protocol, like comments, likes, mirrorings, posts, and integrate those two. And the third one was really interesting when I think Fabio or Jeff told me, like, you can use Graph for it. And when they just sent me the link of YouTube video, like how to set up Graph with EPNS and track the notifications through Graph, it was literally copy paste of your documentation inside my Graph that I built. And while building it, we realized there is a smaller issue in Graph where we have delayed notifications by, I would say, 20 to 30 minutes. And that was the only thing that we found as an issue on Graph currently. And that was my idea that led to building the smaller notification system for Aave. When I think David mentioned who is building notification for Aave, I was like, I could do that. I mean, and went to my company like, look at this tweet. Let's try to build this quickly and publish it and let everyone know what can you do with EPNS in a couple of lines of code if you're just building it on your backend system, like using backend SDK, pick up the event and broadcast the message on your channel. And for the future roadmap, what I have been discussing internally, and I have been chatting with Jeff, is extending the one profile notification system to entire lens notification system. So we plan to build a notification system for everything that happens on Lens using backend SDK, because backend SDK has a real-time sending notification system until the Graph takes over. Yeah.
That's exciting, yeah. It's pretty good. In fact, I just realized when you started speaking about this, we launched the EPNS X, the Graph integration a couple of weeks ago. And if any of you guys are interested to kind of using that feature, just check out the tweet that is pinned on top of this space. That'll come in handy. We were really, really excited on building this and sharing it with the community. So yeah, I think that definitely did come in handy. Thank you so much, Mustafa, for sharing your insights, your journey, and we really wish you the best and hope there's a lot more exciting stuff happening in the future.
Thank you for having me. It was nice building on top of the EPNS part of the solution.
Thank you. All right. In fact, now I'd like to bring on Jeff to kind of take over and talk to some of the amazing builders and let them share their story as well. So Jeff, why don't you take the stage and take this forward?
Thank you so much, Srini. And I have the pleasure of introducing KeyKo. Right. To talk about KeyKo, we have Joseph with us. But KeyKo caught us by surprise because it was a really, really technical project that came to our table to do their pitch, and it was super interesting because what they were offering is the opportunity to establish a communication channel between guardians and requesters. So it really makes things much easier in the space right now to coordinate efforts towards different actions. But Joseph, why don't you explain us a little bit more about what's KeyKo and what's the idea behind it?
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, for that introduction. So actually, ETHNewYork was our first hackathon, and we all definitely really enjoyed it. But going back to KeyKo, thinking about how it started, we were all really just thinking about how to onboard that next wave of users and what the biggest barriers to entry are right now. And one of the things we came to was that safe and secure private key management is not only a pain, but it's not at a state right now where crypto can really reach mass adoption. And so reading Vitalik's blog about social recovery with key management, we kind of thought there must be a better way, and what if we could build a very intuitive, easy to use platform that allows you to take control of your social key recovery in a way that you maintain control of your account, of your private key, but are still able to recover in the case that you lose it. And so the key features that we really wanted to implement were maintain control over externally owned account. Most multi-sig wallets are currently implemented using smart contracts. That costs gas. It's expensive to deploy, and you're really not in control. Smart contracts can be hacked, and we see that all the time. And so what we did with KeyKo is we built out this very basic MVP where you could go on, back up your private key, encrypt it, and then designate certain guardians to help you with the recovery process. And where EPNS really came in and they streamlined the process was the whole recovery process of message sending between the guardians and recoverers. And that really allowed us to make it a very easy and intuitive UI to make it so that all you had to do was send a message to your guardians. They would go onto our site, and then that message would automatically populate for them. And then when they recover it for you, you go on with your new wallet, and you automatically receive the messages that they send to you. And so that was really the goal with what we tried to accomplish with KeyKo, and EPNS really helped us with that, implementing that.
Yeah, awesome. And I remember probably on myself looking at your presentation, and it was just it was really great. It was like watching a movie because we were really impressed about what you were building. So where are you right now? What's coming for KeyKo?
Yeah, so right now we're kind of thinking about how to improve the process. One of the core things that we really want to do is take control over the full wallet experience. And so some of the features that we're thinking about and are in the roadmap right now are completely revamping the UI UX, making it a fully fledged wallet application so that we can take control of the whole process from start to finish. Backing it up on wallet creation, including an address book that you can very easily designate guardians. Adding a feature for dynamic guardian management, right? The current MVP that we did in the 36 hours that ETHNewYork was a static guardian management. So when you back it up, you designate your guardians, and that's it. And another feature that that wasn't fully implemented that we'd really love to do is add threshold guardian schemas. So instead of all 6 of your guardians that you designate having to sign off your new wallet as a recoverer, being able to designate if 4 of 6 recover it, then I'm able to access my new wallet. So those are some of the features that we'd like to implement, along with multiple key management. It'd be great if you could not only back up your private key, but then any password that is very sensitive. And we're thinking about different use cases. Very interesting use case that someone came to us with at EthGlobal actually was the case where a user has multiple MetaMask wallets. And then can back up each MetaMask wallet with, various other ledger wallets, for example. And so an individual user is now able to take control of the social recovery layer, but do so with themselves and multiple wallets.
Wow, that's quite a lot of features that you're adding, but definitely they make a lot of sense. So, just out of curiosity, what was the biggest challenge that you faced when you were starting this hack?
I'd say the biggest challenge was probably putting everything together. Like you mentioned, it was a fairly technical challenge and a technical solution with a lot going on in the back end, and I think that kind of showed in the demo at least. A lot of the MVP was about setting things up and then kind of just waiting for it to load in the back end. So really those final hours at on Sunday at 6 a.m. getting everything to really work and being able to do a full test start to finish was probably the biggest challenge.
All right, perfect. Joseph, thank you so much for sharing all this with us. It was definitely great working with you guys. So we hope to keep you in the community and keep talking with you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next one is Granted. And to talk about Granted, we have Kate with us. And what Granted did is it was also, like I would probably say this about every project because they were all super, super impressive. But what they did is a solution, a milestone-based granting solution for providing visibility and communication and accountability for grantors and grantees. We really enjoyed that demo. So maybe, Katie, you can tell us a little bit more about what you did.
Hi, can everyone hear me? I'm just on a bridge,
Yes, we can.
so it's a little windy, but yeah, so we also wanted to provide a granting solution because I think it's a huge pain point in the industry. So our platform was used to be user-friendly for both the sponsor and builders. So it's a granting aggregate, and then it's milestone-based. So we use EPNS to, every time like a builder would apply, the sponsor would get notified. And then eventually we want to integrate it so that each milestone the sponsor gets notified and then the builder gets notified when their funding is sent as well.
All right, perfect. And just another question. Did you come up with this idea at the hackathon, or you already came with this idea clear in your mind that you wanted to develop it? How did you start working on this hack with your team?
We actually came up with it at the hackathon. So none of us knew each other. We were brought, I'm a core contributor for BlueDAO. So we sponsor scholars to come together. So we like all met at the hackathon, had a brainstorming session on the Friday, and then built out the project. And shout out also to HerDAO because I see a lot of scholars from HerDAO there too.
Yeah. Well, meeting all your team members during the hackathon, it certainly make things interesting, right? So, what are you continuing building, or what are your next steps for Granted?
Yeah, we definitely love the project. So we definitely are resting after ETHNewYork. It was my first hackathon, and it's like a whirlwind for sure. But now we are regrouping. Our next steps are to get feedback and like talk to different people in the ecosystem, and then build out the project from there.
All right, that sounds perfect. And just the final question is the whole team going to continue like working on it, or is it mostly some of you that are going to continue?
No, all of us like are really, really into the project. There's 5 of us, 3 devs and 2 project managers. So we're all we worked really well together for like just meeting each other, but we all want to continue building it together as well, which is really exciting. It's very Web3.
That's awesome. That's one of the best outcomes of this event. All right, Kate. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing about Granted. Again, we hope to see you around and keep getting the good news about Granted.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move to the next one. Next one in line is Splytto. Splytto was very interesting for us because on their pitch, they actually described the main use case by talking about the struggles that team can face on this sort of events like hackathons. What they created is a crypto expenses splitting dApp for friends and teams to split their share and settle it among themselves. To talk about Splytto, we have Srilakshmi. So take it away.
Hi team, nice to meet you all. Great projects that had come up. So yeah, talking a little bit about Splytto. Splytto is a expense sharing app, like Jack mentioned. We actually we thought about the idea because me and a couple of people from our team have been traveling to a lot of hackathons, right? And the prize money comes in pool, and there's always discussion on how to split it because one person gets it, right? So we wanted to make this whole process easier. So that's when we decided to build something that's similar to Splitwise in Web2, which is what we built in crypto. So we wanted to have 2 use cases. One is where we can create a group and split an expense. And second is that an external party, like let's say through this hackathon, we win, right? So they can deposit it in one of the accounts, and through the Splytto application, you can not just account for the split, but also do the payment transactions. So we used EPNS as a notification system. Whenever there's a group created or an expense that's been added, or you've been added to an expense group, they get a notification so that they know that they are part of it. So they can either receive money or they can give money through the application.
And I have to ask, did you use it yourselves with your team to split the everything that you had to for the hackathon?
So to be honest, one of the big issues that we faced was the whole front-end integration, right? So our project was not 100% complete. So we integrated it, but there were few features that were missing, which is what we are planning to work on now. So not all, but some of the team members are really passionate about the project and we want to take it forward. So yeah, that's what we are trying to build on. So we want to build a complete product. So we are looking at like EPNS and in fact other protocols as well, where we can go ahead and apply for grants and build out the whole project. And then how to use it.
No, that's awesome, because Splytto is definitely one of those projects that go hand by hand with events like this. So it would be really, really great to see it in the next in-person event.
Thank you. Hopefully in the next in-person event you can use it.
Are you and right now you are working on it right now, or are you like taking a break and then you're going to continue?
So yeah, we just, since a lot of us are also traveling for ECC, so probably after that we're gonna start working on it. But yeah, we're definitely looking out for grants and stuff to get a couple of front end integrators, and we can go ahead.
That's great. That's awesome to hear. All right, Srilakshmi, thank you so much for sharing where Splytto is nowadays. Hope to see you around and really use Splytto next time on the next IRL event.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, finally, we come to Heart. Heart is a gamified DAO-governed collective that enables artists to take part in creation and funding of public social goods. Now, a fun fact is that when they came to demo to us, they haven't slept like in 40 hours. And it was funny because that's how they started their pitch. And to talk about it, we have Zennie and Maia. Zennie, you wanna go first, maybe?
Yes, thank you so much, Jeff. I also thank you the whole EPNS team to invite us to share our experience in East New York. It was great experience for us, and in fact, three of us had this idea in Uber when we when we back to the hotel, and we came up with this idea. And three of us are all ladies, and we just form a team by there. So we are very excited to get grant from EPNS. So basically, as Jeff introduced, that's our platform aim to build as an arts platform to engage public and also the artists to work collectively on the artwork, and the whole process of artwork will be streamlined. And in the end, the artwork will be auctioned out as an NFT. So the whole process, we wish to integrate EPNS, the notification services, to interact with our users and public, and also the artists, about what's happened then, and what's the progress. For instance, how far other artists the work has been done, and also in the end, if we want to auction out, we also want to interact and create good user experience with public and also the organization who will receive the funds. So we found EPNS and let's see, really added a value to the projects, as that's the missing layer probably, and also it's very friendly. That's regardless what kind of blockchain we use, we all can just integrate in it. And something we like very much is the DeFi aspect, because the protocol allows basically it's staking, so the user when they participate, they also ends. So that's something really cool, I would say. And that's also compliance with or in line with our goal that we want to broadly involve public and also the artists to join. And in the end, we would like to build this platform as a DAO as well, because in the end, in the next step, let's see. And this will be a very strong feature that's to help us to not only attract but also retain the users to the platform. Yes, maybe Maia from our team can continue.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
Sunny.
Yes.
Definitely. Thanks, Sunny, for this brief, and thank you, Jeff and the team for hosting us today. Hopefully, I'm audible and very excited to be sharing more about the project. So, Sunny already gave you a foundation about what we built and looking at the problems we're solving within a $105 billion industry. So, we're talking about the creator economy, and in fact, only 4% of people working in this space consider it as a sustainable full-time career. So how can we make the creator space for artists, for creators, musicians, really anyone who is creating any form of value to society, have a more equitable share in the space, grow a more solid audience and user base, and have their work showcased to the right people? So effectively, it's very simple. As Sunny mentioned, you have a view where you can select which artists you see should collaborate. The next step is pretty much having these artists co-create one piece of art. And then this piece of art, once finalized, is auctioned off. So the money raised is given to a philanthropic or social impact project, really. And we want to also give more power to the people. And as Sunny mentioned, where EPNS comes into place is we have integrated the messaging notifications for selected artists and auctions. So going back to step one, once you select artists, there's a 24 to 48 hour timestamp. Once that is done, you will be notified again on which artists of your choice have been selected to work together. And this is as well to notify when the next person is live streaming. So as you already know, the artists are co-creating, so you will also get a notification when the next person starts and when the auction starts as well. And it was a great opportunity for us to shed the light on social impact on this space, on a sustainable business, and on how we can give more power to the people, more power to artists, and more power to advocates, and even help advocates emerge in such a day and time where they are sometimes censored for tapping into sensitive topics, and there are so many topics we can shed light on. So hopefully we will see the project grow. We are planning to continue working on this and to support local artists, musicians, creators, and hopefully grow this within the EPNS ecosystem. So thank you for the opportunity and thank you for having us here.
Right, thank you so much. And it's so good to know that you are going to continue developing this because it has a beautiful mission. We really liked it, and your presentation was super beautiful as well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Maia and Sunny. It's really great to hear about art. All right, so just to start wrapping up, today we have POP, and we'll be giving them away in our Discord in the channel called POP Friday Push with ETHNewYork Builders. The channel is up and running already. It's live. So for POP is first come, first served. And finally, we'd like to remind everybody that our Rockstars program, Volume 2, just started. And for more information, you can take a look at the tweet that we shared during this space. We're looking to encourage developer participation a lot on this one. So developers, please keep an eye on it. Now, Srini, why don't you take it away now?
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. And thanks a lot for joining in to everybody, all the builders, and everyone who joined in to listen in. I did see some requests. If anyone wanted to ask any questions, we can open the floor for that. Anybody has any questions to any of the builders, in fact, or EPNS? Please, right now is your time. Okay, looks like we are done. And once again, thank you everybody to join in to the push call. And as Jeff mentioned, we have limited poets up for grabs. Do go to our Discord channel and find the link for that particular channel in there and drop a hi, and our team will get back to you. And yeah, look forward to hosting as well as having a lot of you guys on in our future events as well as push calls. So thanks again, everybody, and have a good weekend.